Welcome to the video, everyone. I'm Amy and this is Sam, and Donna's behind the camera. We'll be showing you how to approach the Problem 7 fetal pig dissection.
We'll be covering a wide range of topics, so if you need to skip around at any time during this video, please check the timestamps below.
Let's take a look at our tools. The first thing you need to check is your scalpel. Make sure that the blade is fresh at the beginning of class.
If you need a refresher on how to change your scalpel blade, the video will be right here and in the description bar. The rest of the tools available to you during the dissection will be the probe, forceps, and your dissection scissors.
Now that we have that covered, let's get started. Wait, Amy, you crazy child. You don't have your equipment on. What? Oh right, I forgot.
Once you have your pig and dissection area situated, it's time to determine the sex of the pig. This is vital before you actually begin cutting because male and females must be cut in specific ways. As you can see from the manual, the males have an opening called the urogenital opening near the bottom of the umbilical cord and a more enlarged area near the tail. Females do not have this opening and the area near their tail is not enlarged. So looking at our example pig now, we can obviously tell it's a male. Now that we've determined the sex and have our measurements, let's get to cutting. Males and females both need a mid-ventral line cut from the throat to the umbilical cord. If you have a male, cut a U with the apex at the anterior side of the umbilical cord, and if you have a female, cut a circle all the way around the umbilical cord and then proceed to cut downwards. Make sure your cuts are clean and deep. This is very important. We will be stitching the pig back up at the end of the dissection, so the skin needs to stay attached to any muscle or fat. The easiest way to get all of the organs out intact is to try to remove them as an organ block. In order to do so, you will need to break the chest cavity and expose everything that's internal. You can do this by applying more pressure with your scalpel as you cut down the rib cage. You'll know the ribs are broken when you hear a cracking sound. This is a bit of a lengthy procedure, so we're just going to fast forward to what our final product should look like. So at this point, you might notice that Amy and I are cutting this thin muscle layer that divides the organ block in half. This is actually the diaphragm, and it isn't an important part of the autopsy report. You actually need to fragment this muscle to take the entire organ block out at once. So if you do cut this, don't think that you made a mistake, you're actually on the right track. Now that we've finished making our initial cuts and have a view of the internal organs, let's break down what you should be seeing according to the pig manuals. As you can see here, I made a cut at the trachea, and this is where your partner work is going to have to come in handy. While one person holds the organs upwards, the other person with the scalpel is going to cut the organ block along the spinal cord. And as you get to the lower half, just make sure you don't accidentally puncture the kidneys. They're a little bit further back than the rest of the block, so it's kind of easy to miss them. The thymus and thyroid. These are the organs our classmates had the most trouble with finding. The thyroid is actually on the left side of the trachea and it looks kind of like a small bean. Meanwhile, the thymus is more of a flat-looking structure on the right side, and it's partially removed on the heart. At this point, what you have to do is separate the rest of the organs from each other. We're not going to focus on organ identification for this video, but if you utilize your dissection manuals and check the Trello board, you should be able to identify the rest of the organs easily. One more thing we want to cover with the organs is the intestines. You actually have to separate the intestines so they can be measured in a horizontal line. So what you have to do is you have to pick a place and make an initial cut with your dissection scissors, and then you can use your hands to just pull everything apart. With this, don't worry about being too neat with your separation, but if you accidentally rip the intestines, you might get fecal matter on your gloves.
The brain dissection is one of the most complicated parts of the whole procedure. We found that our classmates had the most success when they made cuts that were longer and deeper along the back of the pig.
Following the manual, we'll be following these guidelines and probably be making a longer cut along the back for easier access, like I said before. Once you have the skull exposed, switch out your scalpel blade for some bone scissors. You want to cut the skull so that it can be removed like a cap. Another thing to keep in mind is that you shouldn't use your bone scissors like normal scissors because they can crush the brain matter that's under the skull, and then you won't have an accurate picture to put on Trello. So we didn't get a perfect circle and get to remove it like a whole cap, but as you can see here, we have the brain exposed, and the next step is just trying to remove everything intact.
Now that we're done with organ identification, you're going to want to put the organs back into the pig so we can suture it closed. For this process, you're going to need 2 people. Let's go. No.
As you're suturing, remember that you only have to worry about your eventual cuts, so don't worry about the brain or the original cut that your pig came with. There's a lot of videos out there on how to do sutures, which we'll link down below, but for this video, I'll be doing the forward interlocking stitch. The reason why it's beneficial to do this with 2 people is to get the best possible looking stitches. One person is going to be holding the stitches back to keep them tight while the other person sutures the pig closed.
We hope this video is helpful before you tackle your own fetal pig dissection. If you like this video, please give us a thumbs up and make sure you subscribe to myBAHS.